Magazines. Interesting concept, huh? Taylor Knox. Such a great photograph right there, you know? Bam! Gotcha. That was the same winter. Wait, so this would have been, what year was this? Hold on. Don't you usually have the year on these things? September 2001. So yeah, this was shot winter of 2000. I wore those exact same trunks and that wetsuit in the Pipe Masters. Same winter. Interesting. Wetsuit under the shorts. Skinny legs, bro. Come on. No shame. I thought I was going to start a new trend, but didn't seem to kick in. Nobody was buying it except me. Short hair, don't care. I actually have this magazine. This is in Australia, Central Coast, on a filming trip with Taylor Steele. I think there's a whole little story in here about our trip. Yeah, we would go, every year we'd have the Gold Coast, and sometimes there'd be like 3-week gap between Bells and the Gold Coast, and I don't know, I just never wanted to fly home and then turn around and fly back. So I would just drive down the coast and find places to hang out. And another shot. That's the crazy part about this time in our lives. This is going to be September 97. We were on the road, honestly. This part of my life, I was on the road for probably 10 months out of the year. So the other 2 months, I would come home, and I would maybe be home for a week. I'd wash clothes, get new boards, wetsuits, and it was just like constantly recycling and on the road. And there was times where I'd be on the road for like 3 months at a time. We were getting photographed so much, and photos were turning up everywhere, you know? It was like, Shano? It's like you can just go through a magazine. Taj, you know? It's pretty wild. Andy. See? That was a session. Same thing, Australia, Central Coast. It went right hand in hand with, I just had it. There's another one, same session, Backside Tube Ride with Jason Weatherly. You know, we just were like traveling, shooting photos every single day. Same session right there, frontside turn, same as this session. Just like that afternoon golden light on the east coast of Australia. Rippable beach breaks, playful, just going. So I honestly, like, you would come home and be like, oh yeah, like I got a cover. All right, cool. Like, how many magazines had been out? You know, you had Surfer, Surfing, Transworld. It was like you had a stack of 6 magazines that you'd be like, oh, that was cool, sick. We got a little thing in our trip. Rad, cool. All right, let's check the next one. This is a good one. Any guesses? Very few would guess this one. Look at that. Bonsai. So we're talking 1999. This photo was shot just down the road, and it was a terrible day, like horrible. Almost didn't paddle out. Rob Gilley shot this photo. This is film, back when you would swim out with 36 photos. That's all you got. And we paddled out, and I was trying to find these waves, and it was like real stormy and chunky and lumpy and funky and weird and pulling. Like, I just thought I was going to get hurt. Like, everything was just not right. And then I was like, seriously, dude, we got to, I'm over this. I want to go in. And literally 30 seconds later, I paddled over this wave, and it was like the ocean just groomed. It was this like low road double up sucking off the bar, and I was like, whoa. And I just paddled out to the thing, swung around, knifed into it, and just Gilly was swimming, and so weird. I think a lot of times getting a cover of the magazine was like, had a lot to do with timing too, right? It's like he probably shot this photo, got it developed, walked into the mag, and they were like, what are we going to put on the cover? What do we got? And Gilly was like, check this out. And they were like, sick. Put it on there, like mocked it up, and we're like, killer, everybody like it? Everyone's, yeah. And then you're like, I got the cover. Sick. Surfing at home. I was actually wearing a Billabong wetsuit, but nobody knows. Thanks, Bob Hurley. Oh, this day. Gosh, that was a good day. That's Shane Dorian, and I believe it is Lance's right. This is February 2000. We did, I wonder if that trip is in this magazine. Oh, great. Dude, this is great. They analyzed my handwriting. Since its handwriting slant resides between 90 and 112 degrees, Rob makes decisions logically. He uses sound judgment and tends to be ruled more by his head than his heart. He may appear unemotional simply because Rob has learned that this method works best for him. Yes. Loose change, dude. So, the trip, going back to the front cover, this trip was the loose change trip that we all had footage from, but it was also the main movie that came out of that was September Sessions. And there was a whole issue dedicated to the September Sessions trip. So I wouldn't think that it'd be in here. But the waves were incredible. This was literally the first day we got there. We pulled up, and Lance's right was just like from as deep as it gets. I think there was even some capping roll-ins, and if you've been there, you get it. But they call it, I think they call it the office, and it was just draining. But for me, like 2 days before the trip, I came down with like this crazy flu. I mean, it was COVID back then. Now, I was like laid out in bed, couldn't even lift my head off the pillow. Supposed to fly to Indo, like just antibiotics, drugs. I just go to the airport with like a hoodie on, sweatpants, just get on the plane, travel for 3 days to Indo, and I'm just a mess still. Get there, and I'm just like the shell of a human. We pull up, and the waves are like proper. It's pumping. It's like 6 to 8 foot and just rifling across the reef. And I'm just like zero energy. I can like barely wax my board. I was like, oh, so tiring. Why is this so hard? And I just paddled out, and I ended up getting a couple of like the best waves I've ever seen. Like, they're just flawless. You just stood up and bottom turned and just start pumping down the line, and you just like get blown out of these tubes. And you'd kick out, and you'd just be like Ross, Shane, Luke Egan. It was pretty incredible. So that's a good one. I have waves in loose change from that session, and then also September Sessions. That was the whole movie, was September Sessions. That was this trip. And there was also a Surfer Mag TV show made out of that trip. Sonny Miller was on that trip with Dave Holmesy. We had more photographers than we did freaking surfers. And so many different things came out of that trip. It was wild. Like, you know, like I said, you had my whole part of Loose Change was basically on that trip, which along with a lot of us, like Ross and Shane, we all had waves. And then Sonny made a full Surfer Magazine TV show, and then Jack Johnson and recorded songs and put out September sessions. This is it. Is this it? Tomorrowland. Yeah. Dude, same trip. We were just talking about the issue dedicated to it. The September sessions trip. Tomorrowland. Kelly Slater retired. Well, he retired. What year? 2000. He was retired. Yep. Oh, the waves are good. Look at it. Designed my own shoe. Had a photo on the bottom. How good is that? Nobody did that. Tomorrowland. This was it, man. Maybe the most productive surf trip ever. We scored like everywhere. Macaronis, lances, like you name it. Just everywhere we went, the waves were absolutely firing. Oh, Gurr was on that trip. That's right. How could I forget? Sorry, Gurr. Dude, I was running the vest, bro. Tan lines. I can't even imagine how fun that would be to be normal. I said that. I must have said that. I'm feeling pretty normal. There, you know, you watch September sessions and there's some good voiceovers. I think we're in a weird time in our lives. March 2000. So this turned out to be my last full year on tour. March. The year 2000 was the last time that I surfed an entire year. I finished the year in third. I won the Pipe Masters at the end of the year. It's pretty powerful. Whew. That was a big one. That was a huge one for me. Oh look, there's a... That was, I mean, obvious, like just pinnacle of my career, you know, competitive career. I woke up that morning and it was second reef pipe, like washing through 15 feet, and the swell was meant to kind of just slowly die off the whole day, but I did have first heat of the day, and I was so tripped out. I was like, okay, I'd obviously surfed it like that a few times, but I was just like going, like, this is gonna be so gnarly in a heat, just being out there, and you have no lineups and no people sitting around, and you're like dodging second reef wash throughs. And Mick Lowe just beat Shane Dorian in the semis, and he beat Shane by getting this wave. I think it's that photo. It was this photo, like free fell out of the lip, landed, pulled in super deep, got blown out, got a 10, right? So he was on point. Mick was gnarly out there, just maniac charging. And so we went out in the final and did battle, and I remember there was a distinct moment. I'd kicked out of a wave. I was paddling back out, and this exact same wave came right to him, and I was like, oh my gosh. It was like a 10-foot TP, and he was paddling into it, and he free fell and went to knife it in just like he was doing right there, and his nose caught, and he went over the bars and just got smashed like all the way to the beach. And I paddled back out, and I got in the spot, and this perfect one came, and I was deep, and I backdoored it, got barreled, came out, went into gum, sandbar, pulled up again, and got another little barrel and came out of that one. And that was one of the few times in my life that I claimed a wave. But yeah, the waves were good. And I got a 10 on that wave. And that kind of sealed the deal, and I won the Pipe Masters. Like, just to be able to go out in waves like that as a skinny little California kid and win a contest at Pipeline was a huge accomplishment. Can I surf now? I'm gonna ride this little ditty. I've been having fun on this thing. Feels good. If it feels good, do it.